It is Monday, August 30th, 2021. What is it, 10:07 p.m., I think. Just going to do a quick summary. I want to go right to sleep. I'm very tired, but I want to record my day just for posterity or for prosperity. Posterity, but maybe also for prosperity because I don't know, maybe I'll make 5 cents on YouTube from this. Anyways, okay, so this morning I was dreaming that I had to go to the bathroom, and somehow I was hanging out with my friend Maria from university, who was a very cute girl. We were like good friends. I went to visit her in Woodstock, Ontario, and I left a little note. This isn't the dream. I'm just telling you about something about her. I left her a little note saying it was great staying with you, and I stuck it under her mirror. And then her sister found it like years later and told her about it, and she told me, and I'm like, why would I even do that? Anyways, um, she's married with kids now, and her daughter just started at our university. I'm like, what? I'm still 18 in my head. How can her daughter be 18? Anyways, um, so I woke up and I'm like, ugh. So I went to the bathroom, and then I'm like, I guess I'm up. Um, and then I heard some banging around. I'm like, oh yeah, the exercise class. My CPAP machine said it was on for like 9 hours and 10 minutes, but I know it took me like an hour to fall asleep because I heard the end of the podcast. And then they were doing their exercise class, and I've never gone to join it, but I've heard my mom sort of bang around with weights or something, and so I went to see. And I came in right at the end at 7:30, and they were just lying on the floor, stretching and doing weights. And I'm like, huh. So I joined for some stretches, and then I joined for a 45-minute little dance class. And yeah, it was fun. And then, but I was in my gym clothes. I thought, okay, I'm going to go for a jog. But I didn't because at 9 a.m. I was supposed to do a briefing on this project, a copywriting project to help an agency pitch for a client. And then they pushed it to 9:30 and then 9:45, then 10. So that was 10, but I'm like, I don't have time to go for the run. And then I think everybody went out, and I was just working on my stuff. And then what happened? I guess I was just sort of working all day. I did that, and then I'm like, I guess I'll start writing, and maybe I can do that. And once I've done some, then I can go for a jog. But then uh, I know it's. I got an email saying I did some voice auditions, and then I got an email saying, "Hey, could you help us? We have an idea for a podcast for the pitch." And then they said, "Could you support us on that?" And I'm like, "I have a podcast. I'm a voice actor. I can do that." And they're like, "Oh, you're." They're emailing each other. We told you that was our guy, and then um, yeah, so then I had a meeting at 3:30. But oh, I found out I had an interview at 2:30. I was supposed to interview a comedian. I forgot about it. Or maybe I didn't forget, but I had it. And so I did that, and then 3:30 I'm like, I gotta go. So then I went to the meeting. But yeah, it was a fun interview with this comedian Nicole in LA, and yeah, she told me what it's like. She runs her own comedy show, and she told me what it's like living in LA. So that was cool. You guys can listen to that. I've actually posted it already because I got right on it after the meeting. I'm like, I'm going to post this, get it up right now rather than waiting. So that's my new thing. Um, and then my sister was going out to see some friends from camp, and everybody left to see my uncle who just got to town, and they went to swim in his pool. So I just stayed here and worked on the copywriting. And then when did everybody get home? I think they were home. They like my nephew came in when I was on talking to the first woman, and so he made a cameo appearance. And then the kids came in around 7. They were back from dinner, and they're like, "You can come for a walk." I'm like, "Oh, I've got another interview at 7." Like, so then eventually they left my room, and I said I'll catch up. But this took like an hour and a half or something. Like I was sort of 8:30 ish. I'm like, oh, it's done. But then I went for a walk to see if they were still out, and they were just at the parking lot at the school nearby. So that's it. And then that woman I interviewed, she was in the Navy for 30 years, and now she has a podcast and wrote a book called The 7 Steps of Success. This woman's name is Trina. So that's inspiring, and I'll post that tomorrow. And what did I learn from her? Like the first woman I learned, I guess she just tried stand up. She just thought she was funny. She was always coming up with funny thoughts in the shower, and she started writing them down. And her friend said, well, maybe that's probably because you're funny. And she asked her husband, should I do stand-up? He's like, no. And she's like, all right, I'm doing it then. And she went and did it the next day. So you just do it. You just write down some things and you just do it. And then Trina, her thing was, it's about step 1 in her book is mindset. You just change your mindset. You believe you can do things. You think positively. I think that was basically it. It's all, you can't change your outside till you change your inside. So I'm like, all right. And then my contribution was, I read recently that you need to just take action. You're not going to wait. Don't wait till you're motivated because you won't be motivated. Taking action gives you motivation. So if you're like, I'm not motivated to work out, you don't wait for that. You just start working out, and then you'll feel like good about it, and then you'll keep doing it. Same thing, I guess, with anything like comedy or writing. You just sit down, you bash some stuff out, and then you'll feel good for having done it. So, so it's obviously been a busy day, and tomorrow at 10 a.m. I've got an interview with a ad agency that wants to hire me, and I've got to work on the copywriting, and then I'm gonna go at 12:30. I told a model I would interview her at a beach, and then I've got a tech test for the speed dating, and then an interview at 4, and then one at 6, and then hosting the speed dating tomorrow. So I'll share the link for that, and hopefully you guys can join me for that. And then, yeah, so the kids tonight, my sister came home and she was sitting in the living room, and I played hangman with my niece and nephew. That was fun. And little details like, my sister was like, I wish the light had a dimmer here. And then, so I went and got a lamp from the living room, and it didn't have a light bulb. So I went and got a light bulb and put the little lamp on the living room table. But my sister's like, where'd you get that? I'm like, from the living room, I'll put it back. Because that's the thing with my house. Everybody gets very upset about anything. If you move a lamp, if you, like, I don't know. I don't know if all families are so high strung. Like, it's like, why'd you move something? Who took this, who moved a light bulb? Or it's like, why does everything have to be a big deal? I don't know. And then, yeah. That's right. Earlier today, my sister Diana was over, and we were talking to my sister Naomi. Said she talked to her about maybe getting her like assisted living, like moving her somewhere, like, and yeah, she's on board with that. So it's interesting. It's like things are always changing. My Naomi was saying like, yeah, I apologize to mommy or something. Like, I come here and I ruin everything. I'm like, what do you mean? It's like, well, I come here and now you're leaving, like me. And now Diana's got a new place to live because she's just came in and told people what to do. Because my parents listen to her. They do whatever she says. But this is my last week as not a billionaire. So when I've got $1 billion after this weekend, you'll be like, oh, I don't know, maybe people will listen to me more. Because I got a few fires I'm building a website, and I'm also starting my what is it called? Spark U. That's my university. I decided, okay, here's my idea. Maybe I told you this yesterday, but I should have one Facebook group instead of like 50 Facebook groups for like voice acting and stock trading. It's like, no, here's everything I know. I'm teaching you in my group, and it's related to my podcast. So it's the Spark U group, and then I can post my podcast in it, and then we can all talk about what we've learned that day. I think that's fun. Oh, and this comedian Sophie that I saw in my contest last week, she posted today on my YouTube. She's like, I've been following your content since I met you at the contest, and I'm really enjoying it. She posted on my nightly summary. I'm like, wow, that's so sweet. Not a lot of people take the time to tell me that. Like, every now and then I'll get a message from someone on Instagram saying, this doctor woman in the States said, you really inspire me to go after my dreams and stuff. I'm like, wow, that's sweet. But it doesn't happen a lot. So I appreciate Sophie telling me that, and makes me want to do more. And hopefully we can collab and do some stuff. And I still have not played this guitar. Wow, it's funny once you start actually applying for jobs or doing things, like things are filling up. And I've been applying for a bunch of radio jobs too, because I'm like, I should have taken that. Imagine if 2 years ago I'd taken that radio job in Timmins. I was just afraid. I was like, I don't want to be stuck in a small town for a year or two or whatever, but that time's already flown by, and what have I done? Now, at this point, it could have been like, I've got 2 years experience. Like, who knows? It would have been this mad. But at the time, you're thinking, no, I want to go to LA. And now I'm remembering why, like in advertising, I was like, oh, I should. I don't know. At the time, you're like, I don't want to work in advertising again because you don't know what's going to happen for 5 years. But you're like, I want to be free to go to LA. I want to work on things, like creative things. And then, so yeah, you got to remember why you made choices in the past. Like at the time, you didn't know what the future was, and you thought, well, I'll do this. Maybe this will lead to something. And then you look back and you're like, oh, that didn't happen. I should have done this. Well, you didn't know. So just live and learn, I guess. Another expression I like is you got to pay to play. I think when somebody was complaining about gas prices one time, somebody else at the gas station said, you got to pay to play. I don't know if I was there, I heard the story or whatever, but it kind of makes me think, yeah, like I like that attitude of somebody who's like, stuff takes work. You just don't complain. You want to do something, you got to pay for it. You got to work hard for it. It's like, you got to put in the work. So I guess that's it. I don't have any deep insights from today. So yeah, thanks for listening. And then there's some woman in LA wants to do a quick call with me now so I can help her with her music or something. So I'll do that, then I'll go to sleep. Oh, and I messaged a friend of mine that I met 3 years ago. I haven't talked to her, and she's like, yeah, I'm in Ottawa. We can get together. So I'm like, oh, that'll be fun. So maybe I'll see an old, well, I'll see someone in 3 days or 2 days. So at least it's someone I can hang out with. All right, I'm excited. I'm excited to have my $1 billion, and then who knows? I'll have my mansion somewhere, and you guys can join me for the adventures. I think it'll be fun. I think you'll all enjoy it. Okay, bye.